Chuck Hagel is out of the mainstream of thinking, I believe, on most issues regarding foreign policy. I expect the president to nominate people different than I would think. I'm going to vote for Senator Kerry. I don't agree with him a lot, but I think he's very much in the mainstream of thought. Chuck Hagel, if confirmed to be Secretary of Defense, would be the most antagonistic Secretary of Defense toward the state of Israel in our nation's history. Not only has he said you should directly negotiate with Iran, sanctions won't work, that Israel must negotiate with Hamas, a organization, terrorist group that lobs thousands of rockets into Israel. He also was one of 12 senators who refused to sign a letter to the European Union trying to designate Hezbollah as a terrorist organization. He has long severed his ties with the Republican Party. This is an in-your-face nomination by the president to all of us who are supportive of Israel. I don't know what his management experience is regarding the Pentagon, little if any, so I think it's an incredibly controversial choice.
Speaking to Meet the Press last month, President Obama defended Senator Hagel's record.
I've served with Chuck Hagel. I know him. He is a patriot. He is somebody who has done extraordinary work both in the United States Senate, somebody who served this country with valor in Vietnam, and is somebody who's currently serving on my Intelligence Advisory Board and doing an outstanding job.
Talk about the controversy around Hagel being named today by President Obama, or nominated.
Well, the administration floated his name last month, and since then there's been sort of a firestorm of criticism that's come mostly from right-wing Republicans, but also a little bit from pro-Israel Democratic hawks. That's been based around his views on Israel, his views on Iran, some comments he made about a decade and a half ago about a gay nominee to be ambassador, and then also just in general a right-wing Republican conservative voting record in his 2 terms in the Senate. And so all these attacks have been coming for about a month now, and just at the end of the month, Obama finally defended him, and we found out on Friday that he was confirmed to be the likely nominee, probably today, maybe tomorrow morning.
So talk about his record. What is the controversy about? I mean, talking about the 3 I's here: Israel, Iran, Iraq.
Yeah, so a lot of Republicans, there's been a lot of articles written recently that say that Republicans don't like him because he was the first major Republican figure to turn on the Iraq war. And in fact, he did vote to authorize the war, but was more skeptical than most going in. It was reported that he voiced a lot of private concerns about that. And then going on to Israel, he actually has a mainstream voting record where he's voted to, for example, support military aid for Israel, but he's spoken critically about some Israeli policies, and he's also refused to do the kind of posturing and preening that a lot of people on Capitol Hill do, signing every letter that AIPAC puts out. On Iran, he's had some skepticism about the efficacy of sanctions, which I think is pretty well-founded because we've heaped on sanctions and it hasn't worked yet. And he also has expressed concern about the potential consequences of a military strike, and that we haven't talked about that at all in our national discourse. I think that's a pretty well-founded concern too. And so he's been repeatedly attacked for these things, was called an anti-Semite in the Weekly Standard and by a few Israel lobby groups, and it just kind of hasn't let up at all.